Okay, next question is from You Can Foo It. I knew you would appreciate that. Okay, it says, what should someone do if their spouse does not agree with getting life insurance? Is life insurance 100% necessary? I'm in the messy middle. Thanks.
Well, it depends on which side of this equation they're on.
That's true. Are they the one that wants it or not? I think I took it as this person wants it.
I mean, life insurance is one of those heavy life discussions because, I mean, let's face it, nobody likes to talk about death. And death, you want to clear the dance floor. Let's talk about some life insurance. By the way, content calendar, you guys, I love when we're doing our editorial calendar meetings on what we're going to do content on. I love sometimes when we can flex talking about estate planning, life insurance. But I know when we do those shows, there's only about a nickel of you that are going to show up and watch it. It's just not many of you. It's not going to be the crowd favorite.
It's not the most popular
So
one.
I can understand why You Can Foo It. This is a hard conversation. It's going to be one that doesn't, it's not a crowd favorite, but it's more of, okay, let's first figure out, is this because income could go away? You guys are very dependent upon somebody's income. And if that music stopped tomorrow, it would leave the other significant other with debts, with potentially childcare. There's a lot of obligations that would just be sitting there, and then frame it in the case of like term life insurance, to where if you're like under 40 years of age in that messy middle, for literally not much money, a nominal amount of money for the level of protection you can get on term life insurance, you could buy away that risk. That's really a pretty powerful thing. That's how I would kind of handle it, is pose it as the problem that you're trying to solve, and then how nominal the solution is compared to the catastrophic thing that would occur if you didn't have the protection.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through my mind why a spouse would not agree with getting life insurance. There's a conversation there. Hey, okay, well, tell me, why is it that you either don't want us to purchase life insurance on your life, or you don't want us to purchase life insurance on my life? If it's because you don't want me to purchase life insurance on your life because you're nervous about the incentives in line there, it's a bigger conversation for you guys to have. So then I would have what's the reason for not wanting to do it? And then let's walk through the other side of the equation. All right, and this is, I've done this with my wife. I said, hey, sweetheart, if I left this house today and I get hit by a bus, how much do you think it would take for you to be able to live the life that you want to live, replace, my income, provide for the kids, college, all that sort of stuff, so that your lifestyle would stay the same? That's not the intent, but so that you would not be left out on your own, since I am the one who works outside the home in my household. And so we kind of talked about that, and then we flipped it around. And I said, okay, well, hey, if something were to happen to you, even though your primary responsibility right now is staying at home with the kids and doing that type of work, there would be an economic hole that would exist if you were not here. I'd have to figure out how to fill that hole so that I could go out and still do my job. And so there was a number that we even assigned to that. And it was just practical. Hey, if you weren't here, I would need resources to be able to fill in those gaps. And if I were not here, you would need resources to be able to fill in those gaps. And I think once you have that conversation, I just don't know what the friction could be. I don't know why there'd be a reason to not put that type of protection in place.
Well, let me help You Can Foo It, because I've had a unique case in my career. What if it's the big income earner who doesn't want to buy the insurance? Meaning, what if it's the person that makes the majority of the income in the household, and they says, I don't want to have life insurance on me. How do you have that conversation?
Yeah, that's an education piece. Because someone says, I make $1 million, make $1 million a year. Why on earth would I buy life insurance? And the answer that I would say is, hey, if something were to happen to you, your spouse, your kids, that money is no longer coming in. That money disappears. What do you want their life to look like if that happens? Well, it depends on the answer to the question. Hopefully they would say, well, I want them to still be taken care of and be able to provide for. If they say, hey, I don't care, I'm not going to be around, that's a tough place to be in. But I think as spouses, especially if you're spouses that have little people, young children depending upon you, that's a question you really need to have. And you need to have an understanding of why it is necessary. Because I think that gets into a bigger bigger discussion, bigger conversation.
I just know, I've been managing money, doing financial planning since the 90s. And I had one case where I had a big income earner who didn't want to buy more life insurance. And we don't sell life insurance, by the way. We're fee-only financial advisors. But I definitely pay attention when I have young people with kids in the household and you have one predominant income earner. I do recommend term life insurance all the time because you're on this journey from building resources. Just because you have good income doesn't mean you have net worth. You just have a good income. So if the music stopped on that, it would be a dire situation. So you have to bridge the period of time where you're building the self-insured net worth to work behind the scenes. And I felt like with this individual, they're no longer a client because there were some other issues that came up, but it was a control thing. This person was like, look, I make a lot of money. I'm not going to die, so I don't need to buy this. But I felt like there was a bigger communication discussion that this couple needed on control and other things that I thought was very unhealthy. And I don't know your situation, you can foo it, but if somebody is not willing to help their spouse with peace of mind, and I don't know if I'm coloring this because I've been in a situation where somebody was trying to essentially control the situation with the other spouse, but have those open discussion, all those variables that we just shared with you. And then maybe this needs to be a bigger discussion on other things within the marriage. If you can't show the analytical need and the financial needs and the peace of mind, emotional needs, and it's still not connecting with the spouse, then y'all probably need to just go talk to somebody about how do you get on the same page to where we're all respecting each other's hopes, dreams, fears, and everything else that goes into a very effective and healthy family relationship.
And the goal for life insurance is not universal. Some couples will say, hey, if something happens to me, I want my spouse to be set up for life. Some might say, hey, if sometimes I just want the mortgage to be paid off, or I just want college to be covered, or I just want to replace my income for the next 3 years while my spouse figures out how they're going to do. The answers to those questions, there are no wrong answers, but you got to have the conversation so that you are on the same page with what each of your answers are. I think it's not so that you can set the person up for life and that they can just live, lifestyles of the rich and famous off the insurance. That's not it. It's understanding what the expectations are in the relationship.
That's a good point. And I mean, if you're looking at term and it's like an expense or budget thing, I mean, you'd be surprised at how low that monthly payment can be. Like it might just be like a meal out.
That's right.
That's exactly
right.
So yeah, if it comes to like, hey, this would really give me peace of mind, it would only be sacrificing like one dinner out a month. Like it's sometimes just how you frame that and like have that conversation might make all the difference too. But interesting question. I know it's not the most fun, but it's important. So thanks for asking it.